aided by a pass interference that was a pass interference. Mahomes didn't have a great game. 2 interceptions, threw for 150 yards. Kelsey didn't do anything. Here's Mahomes after the game. Sorry.
We feel like we can get a lot better. And so we're going to clean up the mistakes, especially on the offense. It starts with me, and then we'll be a better team forward as the season goes on.
Okay. Were the Chiefs lucky?
Yeah, second straight week. Incredibly lucky.
I mean, a little bit. You trying to be sarcastic?
Last week, they were lucky that the reigning league MVP had 2 guys wide open in the end zone and couldn't make a simple pass to potentially, force a 2-point conversion to try to win. And lucky that the end zones are still 10 yards long, as they always have been. CFL, that's a touchdown every day of the week. This week, they were lucky that, let me count the ways. They were lucky that Cincinnati, maybe because they tricked themselves into thinking it really is Burrowhead Stadium and they've never lost there, as opposed to losing the last time they played there with Joe Burrow in the AFC Championship game, were satisfied running that script, which was Burrow has the ball late in the game, big 3rd down, you can win it. And Burrow gets sacked, the Chiefs get the ball, the Bengals have a young player on the field in a critical spot who probably shouldn't be out there, who commits an obvious penalty to everyone watching the game, except for the people who are wearing Cincinnati Bengals colors, who are very upset about that call. And then the most clutch kicker in the league, now that Justin Tucker can't hit 50-yard field goals anymore, comes on, and Casey Wolf's doing dances. Yeah, they were lucky. They were lucky that they could survive what I think is Patrick Mahomes' worst game of his career.
Wow.
I truly believe that. I know that he's had a handful of 3 interception games. He's had three interception games. We can show you Mahomes' numbers, but he's never thrown for fewer yards in any game that he didn't get. The one game he threw for less yards, Coach, was the one where he dislocated his kneecap and he left before halftime. They were lucky that they, don't need Travis Kelce yet to beat the Ravens and the Bengals. They were lucky that they didn't need Xavier Worthy to beat the Bengals. They were lucky that they committed 3 turnovers. Their quarterback played poorly. They kicked a field goal from the 1, and it was still good enough to beat their only rival. They are lucky that they are that much better than everyone in the conference. And so, yeah, they played a C- game yesterday, Brew, and they won. That's very lucky to be able to do.
Yeah, and look, they haven't looked great for a while.
Since,
last year.
Super Bowl.
No, they just that was their best game. Like in the play, obviously late last season they didn't look great, and they get into the playoffs. I
thought they looked pretty good in the playoffs.
Look good. They win.
Well,
they haven't looked great. They win. And I give them love.
You didn't think they looked great in the Buffalo game in the playoffs and in the Super Bowl?
No, I thought Buffalo was right there with them. For 3. I thought Josh Allen was great for 3 quarters. Super Bowl, they did play well, and they had a chance to lose that game. But no matter how well they play, and Mahomes has had some uncharacteristically bad games. You're right. It may have been his worst game in the regular season ever. Wasn't great in week 1. It wasn't great. But they still find a way to win. I think there is some, like other teams, Jamar Chase lost his cool yesterday. We seen the Ravens, I've said it, the last 2 times they played them, they were making uncharacteristic mistakes. They're losing their cool. And teams are flustered and exasperated by the Chiefs. I do think, Coach, though, if there's one team that gives them, the Bengals give them problems. I thought they outplayed them yesterday with all the trash talk, without T. Higgins, all the motivation. And you said it, the Chiefs are motivated by that stuff. And the Bengals still went in there and outplayed them. But they couldn't get it done at the end, which, again, is going to be more exasperating. But I do think the Bengals and the Chiefs know that if they meet in the playoffs, the Bengals are capable of beating them. Not like anything can happen type of thing, but they could beat them. And the Bengals and both teams know that, whether it's in Arrowhead or in Cincinnati. So, but yeah, look, the Chiefs just find a way to win with Mahomes. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, I really felt that Patrick was trying to make Nick's take that he's just like Caleb Williams accurate yesterday. Because they played very similar games yesterday. But here's what happens. When things were rolling in New England, there were games that we won that we probably shouldn't have won. And there were things that that happened in those games that we were able to take advantage of, and that's common with what I consider great teams, is they figure out a way to win games that they probably shouldn't. And what happens with teams that are challenged or teams that aren't very good, and we don't know where Cincinnati is, but they typically figure out a way to lose games where they played really well. And teams sometimes would say, oh, well, the officials are helping you, but in that situation, on 4th and 16, Patrick put the ball in a very catchable place. Yep. And because he put it in that place, and they did have the young player defensively who made the mistake in the critical moment, that's the difference in the game. And you got to give him credit. It's not easy to kick a 51-yard field goal, but in those clutch moments, after all the bad things that happened, they were able to figure out a way to win, and that's the trademark of great teams and great organizations.
And I'm going to add 2 points. One is, on the 4th and 6, the play before, Patrick threw a catchable ball that was caught that put him in field goal range. Now, the Chiefs committed a penalty. And unlike certain people on the internet today, whether it's some that even played for the Bengals, I'm not going to cry about a committed penalty being called a penalty. It's a penalty. But two 4th downs with the game on the line, Patrick threw perfect balls. In the cauldron of having one of the worst games, if not the worst game he's played as a Chief. The other thing is this. I don't want to argue about how well they did or didn't play last year at the end of the year. Here's what I know. Since that debacle on Christmas Day against the Raiders, they have played 8 games. They're 8-0. And the teams they have played are the Chargers with Easton Stick, throw it out, Miami, Buffalo, the Niners, Cincinnati twice, and Baltimore twice. An 8-game winning streak against all the best teams in your conference and the defending NFC champions. So if they've done that without playing well, then as, to kind of misquote Isaiah Likely, wait until they start playing well.
And we've all had bad days, and there are times where we're having a bad day, but you look over and you have Tom Brady on the sideline, and if you just get it close, give him another opportunity, you'll figure out a way to win. And it's the same thing with Patrick Mahomes. Just keep it close, give him another opportunity, and he figures out a way to win.
All right. Meanwhile, the Bengals fall to 0-2 for the 3rd consecutive year.
You should know better.
Birdie throws for over 300 yards.
What is that, bro?
But
what is that?
Also throws one to the wrong team.
I'm not defending that. I'm not defending
What is that, bro?
Well, that
Vikings pull off the upset. Here's one of the stars of the game. Take a listen.
Excuse me, guys. Excuse me. I'm not one to interrupt the show or brag and throw things in someone's face, but, hey, Mr. Broussard, can I get my credit today? Can I get my credit? Have a great show.
Great pick. By I thought I had a good upset alert with the Packers, and I did, but that was a fantastic.
Are you blaming Brock for this? Are you going to apologize to Greg? You mocked him.
Brock, no. Apologies. You can say that because of the first interception gave the ball at the 10, absolutely. And they scored, and then the fumble, they just dropped the ball, whatever. So those, you can say he cost them the game. I will honestly say, though, he was throwing some dimes throughout that game. Like, that dude was threading the needle all day long. He had 3 bad plays, as you said. Outside of, he was throwing absolute dimes. So he was but you can't make these mistakes.
Sure.
But the defense is a problem too. The defense, to a team missing Jordan Atkinson and missing TJ Hawkinson, and then Justin got hurt in the 3rd quarter, they gave up 403 yards, 7.5 yards per play, coach. So the defense, it was a full team effort. And there's something, look, Minnesota's a tough matchup for them. They beat them last year. But not only that, they've won 8 straight games against the Niners in Minnesota. Last time the Niners beat them in Minnesota was 1992.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Brock didn't play well on those. He made costly errors. But he was dropping some dimes, too.
Yeah, Brock didn't play well. He didn't have like a Patrick Mahomes bad day, but he didn't play well. But here, let's look at it. They lost by 6 points, but they had a punt blocked, which led to 3 points. They went for it on 4th down from the +2 yard line instead of kicking field goals, so that's 3 points. So that's the difference in the game right there, those two things. Vikings are 7 of 12 on 3rd down and had 10 minutes more time of possession Okay, so we could look at that. At the end of the game, after they pull within 6, the Vikings go on a 14-play, 7-minute drive and kick a field goal. 14 play, 7-minute drive, kick a field goal. Ayuk has barely any